Let's make a soul connection. Soul to soul connection. Heart to heart. Make a
Welcome to Six Sense and Beyond. I'm Christina Andrianopoulos.
And I'm Chris Flisher.
And I feel so good because we're going into the holidays, and I love the holidays.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a great time for people.
And you know what I love? I love that we're ending 2014 and going into 2015. And you're going to give us a little bit of what's going to happen in 2015, right?
Well, I think it's going to be an interesting year for sure. We have a lot of interesting, anytime we have major planets leaving one sign and going to another, we have major events happening. So we'll be seeing that.
Tune in. He's our astrologer, forecaster, like weatherman.
Right,
We do a good
weatherman,
job
yeah.
doing that, yeah. But we couldn't do this without our sponsors, Commerce Bank, who takes care of all your banking needs with 12 locations all over the New England area. Thank you so much, Commerce Bank. That supports local television. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
great.
And TJ Woods Insurance, handling all our insurance needs from auto, house, life, and any other kind. And you don't go online to try to find someone to help you when you
Get
really
a
need
real
them.
person.
A real person, for
How
sure.
rare is that?
For 60 years they've been doing it.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, of course, Christian Ray from Akurimoto with Sal, two powerhouses joined together to make women and men beautiful and looking
Look their
together. Right. And then,
YMCA,
yes, absolutely. YMCA's been around for 150 years here in this.
fantastic organization. They really just keep on rolling on.
Right, absolutely. The why, so much more.
Yeah.
And did you know we had an equestrian center right here in our backyard?
I think that's great. I mean, equestrian, my sons did equine therapy and it really helped them after their mother passed away.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
great. We'll
big
have
thing
to
for
remember
them.
I said on another show that we have to get it.
To get a horse in the studio.
You wanted a horse in the studio. And then, of course, Julio's Liquors. Spirit meets spirit. Thank you, Ryan. And you guys are great and support, again, local television. They have one of the biggest liquor stores in Westboro. And you can go online and buy all their hot sauces, too.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Gosh,
But you know what?
great
Talking
combo.
about hot sauces, we have a young lady who flew in from Dallas just to be on our show, Six Sense and Beyond.
Yeah.
Sterling Day, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you guys?
Good. It's great,
great.
to have you. All the way from Dallas. Wow.
Yes, I should say y'all because
Y'all.
that's what we say down in Dallas. Yes.
You know what's great about that you did this is we had talked about for months and months and months before, and then finally you sort of put it together, or the stars were aligned, and she goes, okay, I can be there for this particular, show. And so we're so happy that you did fly in from Dallas.
Thank you. I am too.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's much different up here than it is down south.
It certainly is, but
different world almost.
it very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. You are a psychic,
Yes,
and then you do readings,
I do.
right? And you do a lot of telephone readings, so people from here can call you up.
They can.
Yep.
They can visit my website, evolvegrowrenew.com. And I do on-phone readings all
Yeah.
over the world, actually.
Yeah.
So it's nice.
That's good.
So
Well, when we met, when you came in from Boston Airport, and we talked a little bit, and you said that it was time for you to come out of the box, come out of the telephone box.
Yes.
And so you're coming out, and this was a really good way to do it, to kind of premiere.
This is my first place, my first stop. My son's older and my business is growing, and I want to connect with the people I'm talking to. So it's so much nicer when you can put a name with a face.
It's much more real. I think the relationship of the individual and the person doing the reading, it's much more real if you're together in person.
True, very
And
true.
so when did you feel like you had the gift? When did you sense you had this intuitive gift that you now have and share with others?
Well, when I was very small, I always kind of had a knowing. I was always very perceptive and able to kind of size people up and didn't even realize it. Everybody just thought I was sassy and outspoken. And I'm that too, but it came out to where, some things would happen or occur, and my mother and my grandmother would look at me and go, "What? What'd you say?" And so it was at that time, I was actually about 4 when my grandfather was supposed to get on a plane to go out of the country. And I didn't want him to get on the plane because I just felt like it was very unsafe, and I got very emotional. And he just thought I just loved him too much, and I do. But what had happened later, it came out later on that weekend that there was a hostage situation. It was the Braniff hostage situation that made the world news. And thankfully he wasn't on that plane, but I got the premonition that that was going down.
That's amazing. 4 years old. I got chills.
Yeah.
Now everybody embraced you having this talent, right? Having this gift, right? They went, this is Sterling Day. She's psychic and she can tell you not to go on an airplane, right?
No.
No. How did the world perceive you?
Well, it wasn't until my late 20s that I really embraced my gift. And it really wasn't until my early 30s that I came out with it. Because people are like, oh, you do? You think you're psychic? Why?
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is that, and then there's people out there that it conflicts with maybe some of their spiritual or religious background.
Right.
Some of them are skeptical in that they think, you know, well, how do you know, and all of that. And it isn't a know-it-all kind of thing. It's just a knowing kind of thing. And being able to be in touch with your feelings enough to pick up on your own, but also more importantly, pick up on others. And that's a hard place. You know, it took me, I ran from it for so long because it's a responsibility.
You have to grow into it. You have to sort of cultivate it and practice and grow into it before you become really confident. And
Absolutely.
and the more you do it, of course, the better
And
you
train,
become.
like any profession.
Right.
You do have to train, and you have to keep it going, and so you're constant learning, and then you're constantly teaching others.
Right.
So it's a win-win.
And teaching is a great way of learning, I would say.
Exactly.
You know,
It
really,
is.
you know, supports it.
You know, that's a great point, because some of my greatest lessons come when I'm talking to a client.
Yeah.
And my spirit guide's like, see, here, are you listening to yourself? Yes, you know. So, yeah, good point.
I agree. Yeah, that's I've always found that to be the case. Anytime I teach astrology or have that conversation with people, it really amps up my knowledge as well.
Yeah, that's great. Now,
it deepens.
So you're down in the Southwest in Texas, and so you see, because you're on the telephone, you get clients from all over. But in-person clients, so are their needs and their wants, are they different than up here? I mean, I don't know what ours are up here, but I do know it's usually love, money, you know, and
Love and money.
Right.
health.
In that order.
You know, whether you're in Shanghai, China, or you're in San Francisco, California, or you're in, you know, McAlester, Oklahoma, everybody always has the same wants, needs, desires, and that is love, career, family, finance, everybody, you know, and we're in an interesting time, I believe, in the way of relationships with men and women.
Very much so. I would totally concur with that. You know, we're in a big change, a big switch.
You have said that, and that's what's amazing, and I want you to touch upon that right now. The energy is similar to it was back, wasn't it in the 60s when we were shifting from...
There's a little bit of that, but I think more importantly is the presence of Neptune in Pisces. I think this is the shift, which is a 168-year cycle.
Right.
So back in the 1847s, when spirituality became more prevalent, that's what we're looking at again, a recurrence of that. But of course, it's more modernized. It's contemporary now. But and then of course that's going to indicate a shift towards a growing of the tribe, as well as sort of a tipping towards the feminine qualities, the greater feminine.
Right.
And something you also shared with me in reference to relationships and women's roles and men's roles, that we're a little confused because women have learned for the last 20 or 25 years to just be the go-getter, to be the provider, to just be the strong one. And then now we're supposed to be coming out with a more feminine, a goddess.
Well, I think it'll be a question of balance. You know, women have achieved much of what men used to have, and men have sort of lost that position in society. So there has to be a leveling out of roles. That's to say that we would both be equal in that regard, which is what you really want. You want equality.
Right.
So,
and you were sharing that too. You were seeing that as well, this equality.
Right. Well, and you know, to go on that a little bit more specifically, some of my women have forgotten to be feminine. Okay, in the efforts of being strong and being the provider, they've forgotten to be feminine. Some of the men who, you know, have had to be the provider and have had to prove themselves and had to go out and you know, there's a generation of men in our society that weren't nurtured by their mothers.
Right. And they're unclear about their role, I think.
Right.
Because the roles have changed so dramatically. They're not the breadwinner anymore. There's no, you know, women can do it all, essentially, you know, so we are sort of like, what are we supposed to do?
So what do you say to those men who you feel there's a generation of men that feel like they weren't nurtured in the traditional way, you know, with mom?
Well, you know, that get in touch with yourself. Because what happens is when that goes unnurtured, you shut yourself off. because you don't want to feel. You're not comfortable feeling. So then you have a hard time relating, and then you shut down, you know. And so women need to do their part in being more softer, you know, and more encouraging.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. and men be.
And look who you have on the set.
I mean, who could be luckier than me?
Look who we have on the set.
it's your
Sterling
lucky
and
day.
Christina, who
Gosh.
happen to be, I believe I'm one of the most feminine VITC in the world.
That's right. You got some divas here.
I know.
We do, I love that.
This is a
And
great
goddesses.
sandwich to be in, if you have to be in the
Yeah.
middle.
So it's all about, you know, men taking their confidence and their power back and being leaders, not only in the finances, but also in the emotions.
Yeah, it may be a different kind of leadership, I think. I think it's a softer kind of leadership. We don't have to lead with an iron fist. We can
Right.
lead with a pillow.
Right.
Or something,
yeah.
or a feather, or something that's a little bit more softer. But our approach
Yeah.
has been way too antagonistic, and it needs to be less militant and much
I
softer.
like that. I
Yes.
like that you said that, because there's so much military influence, and I'm not taking away from our veterans and the
No,
people
of
who
course
go
not.
and
No.
defend our
I
country.
appreciate them.
But less war. How can we? Is this what's happening with the shift
I
in the
think
planets?
no. I think this is a major part of where we are headed. It's just getting there is difficult because we had our whole economy and society structured about the military-industrial complex. When we have to shift from that, that's not something you just do overnight.
You know, that's a good point. And one of the things I've tried to incorporate in my readings, especially when we're talking about relationships, is consultation, not confrontation.
Right.
I like that.
Let's talk about it. Let's not fight
Consultation
about it.
instead of confrontation. You heard it here.
Yeah.
Consultation instead of confrontation.
And I
That's
think
great.
that the more people are in tune with themselves, the more they will appreciate themselves and learn to love themselves. When you love yourself, you can truly love somebody else. You have to
Yes.
have that step first.
Absolutely.
And so that's a vital piece of the pie. Without that, you
Can
don't.
I also share something that being human, like last night when I went home, I looked at my son's room again, who's come home from college, and it was such a mess that I just nailed him again. I mean, I was being the non-feminine goddess last night. And, but also we're human. So if that bothered me so much, it just built up to a point, and just like apologize. You know, I have to apologize. I have to, you know,
Absolutely.
just ask for forgiveness and then tell him to clean his room
Then
again.
tell them to clean his room home. Right.
Right. No. Yeah, look, we're all human. We all have these crazy schedules to keep up with. We all have these multiple roles that we're all playing now. People are changing and recreating at lightning speed. You used to, our parents would get a job and they'd stick with it for 20, 25 years. They have a 401k and retire and everything's great and everything's the same.
Right.
Not with us.
Those days are gone.
Yeah.
Now most people are at my age at least have 2 or 3 different jobs. You know, a little
Yeah.
bit here, a little bit there, trying to
Yep.
make things all fit together. It's very, very different.
Yeah, and blended families,
Blended
you know.
families, yeah.
So you've
Yeah.
got all these roles and you're all these different things to all these different people. So
Right.
it's tough, the balancing act.
Well, it's a
Now
cha-
add
it's
being
a-
feminine and going on dates to all of this, and we need your help, Sterling. We need your help as well, and we need the help of this show to be able to express these things that people are experiencing. Sterling Day is here. She's going to be here throughout the whole show. We've asked her to co-host with us for the entire show, so she won't go away. But before we go on our break and you do a wonderful on-air reading with our lucky viewer, Mike, we're going to do the psychic challenge. So we have this lovely scarf that I won't tell you where I've worn that. But
Do I have to have the bag?
No, you can have my bling then.
Then
Oh, you
again,
prefer
I want
my
the phone.
bling?
I don't want the bag.
Oh, okay. Well, it's not really. It's like
I'm
a
not that
little-
feminine
It's
yet.
like a jewelry thing and stuff. All right,
Trying.
so show the objects, and basically what we do here is that we have Sterling will do the honors, and she will pick one of these items and project it out, and
Okay.
it's your turn to tune in, right? Like just
Right.
get into a meditative state a little bit, be
See
quiet
if you
for
can
a
think
little
what
bit.
she's thinking.
Exactly, and we don't know what she's going to pick, so we'll come back and we'll see if we all picked it.
Great.
All right, so take a minute, ready, tune in. Okay, send it, Sterling.
I sent.
Send. Press the send key.
Right.
But don't tell us. Did you do it?
I did.
Okay, good. All right, so we'll come back, but before we go away, Sterling, you're going to be back, so you're going to see more of Sterling, and she's going to do an on-air reading and with our lucky viewer, Mike. So we're going to take a break, and then you'll see us right after the on-air reading.
Make a selection.
Welcome back to The Sixth Sense. I'm Sterling Day, and I'm here reading for Michael McGinnis. Michael, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm so glad to get to read for you today.
I'm looking forward to it. I've been excited for this since I knew it was coming.
Well, thank you for being here.
bet.
Okay, so, you know, before we get started, or as we get started, I guess I should say, a lot of things that people are interested in, or what we talked about before with Christina and Chris, is that, you know, love, money, finances, career, that kind of thing. For you, career and recreating yourself seems to be something that you want to focus on, and seems to be at the forefront for you. You know, right now is a really good time to do that for you. You're in a really good position, because it seems like everybody in your tribe is kind of all getting their own identity, okay? Doing their own thing, whether it be soccer, karate, college, you know, whatever. So it's kind of your turn. Everybody's kind of settled into where they need to be, and this is a time for you to kind of be a little bit more selfish, okay? You're so giving. You have a really giving and open and warm personality. And so right now I'm picking up is a good time for you to be a little bit more selfish and focus more on you and what it is that, you know, you have some ideas of some directions you want to take. And when I read for people, I always like to give them power in their reading, because I want to cover the things that you want to talk about. And so career is coming up around you. Do you have any specific questions about that?
Well, you know, career-wise, I am at a crossroads right now, and it's like, you know, what's my next move? I know my skills, I know my talents, I know my connections, I know what doors to knock on, but those are the ones I really want to do.
You have a lot of corporate background. You're great with people. People respond very well to you. You also have some entrepreneurial skills. I feel like you need to take a bet on you. There's something you want to do and start, okay? Take a bet on you. It's time. Put your money where your heart is, okay? People say put your money where your mouth is, and do that too, okay? But put your money where your heart is, because that's what's going to pay off for you. We're in a time right now where we do what we love and we love what we do. That's where we're going to really succeed. Okay, we're out of the age of, you know, working at the same place till you retire and all of that. You've done all of that. You've been around the block. You have some wonderful experience. Okay, so I'm going to encourage you to really take a bet on you and get that thing started. It looks like March is when you really bite the bullet and go for it.
You know, I always worry that that window of opportunity closed on me.
No, no, it's just here. That's what I'm saying. Spirit's showing you a window that's just here. Everybody's in their respective spots. Everybody's, you know, settled and happy and thriving. Now it's your turn, okay? Love looks great for you too. You've got some wonderful, wonderful energy around you that's supportive, okay? So I want to encourage you to go forward with that too and trust it, okay? You're in a really exciting time to be you. And, you know, age is all relative. It's all about how we feel. It's not how many birthdays we've had. So just encourage, you know what, take chances, take risks. Now is the time. This next year is going to be awesome for you. And thank you so much for letting me read for you.
Pleasure's mine.
Thank you. We wish you lots of luck, and we will be back in just a moment.
Make a selection.
Welcome back to Sixth Sense and Beyond. My name is Chris Flisher, and
Christina Andrianopoulos, and
Sterling Day.
so you have a trio here. I mean,
know.
the three musketeers, the trio lovebirds that we are.
Yes, we are.
wow.
Talented too. Anyway, so before you left, first of all, that was a fantastic reading with
Yeah,
Mike. Mike is
amazing.
cool.
Really
you know,
cool.
he's a good friend of
Great
mine.
guy.
But you knew nothing about it because I never even told you anything but Mike M.
Mike M. And Mike
Yeah.
M's got some great stuff ahead of him.
Good.
So that's
Yeah.
exciting to be Mike.
That's great.
Yeah.
So anyway, before you left, we did the psychic challenge. So tune into what Sterling had projected. Now, Sterling, I had said that you picked that. Was I right?
No.
No, I wasn't right. So which one do you think she picked? So it was, which one was it, Sterling?
It was that little
That little
handbag.
case, my little case here. Well, it was here. So if you picked this, then you were really tuned in. If not, tune in next time to see how better you get.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got to
right.
work on your antenna.
I do. I'm like thinking about a million things while I'm trying to get projections. Anyway, so Chris, as we wrap it up,
Sure.
we promised our viewers that you would give us what's happening in the new year, 2015. I love New Year's.
Me too.
Yeah, it's a great time. People think of it as a beginning, but when you think about it as the planet is turning, it really is only a man-made date. I often think of the solstices more as the time of the real beginning, which would be December 21st. Now, right around that time, we're going to see, right before December 21st, we're going to see Jupiter going retrograde, and we're going to see Saturn moving out of Scorpio finally. For those Scorpios out there, we'll be happy to see Saturn go. It's going to be moving into Sagittarius, where it'll be for a couple months. It'll retrograde back into Scorpio for a little while, and then it'll be on its way through into Sagittarius for the next 2.5, 3 years. But coming up into 2015, as we get into March, we're going to see the last, actually in late December, we're going to see Uranus and Pluto will be squaring each other. And then the last time they square each other, which is the 7th time that they've been together, which means by degree, in March. So that we should see the end of the sort of the reconstruction that they are bringing about. So I think that going forward, the United States is in for a bit of a tough period. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think we're in for a tough time financially. I think the economy of the world is in a tough spot. So that's just a piece of advice that you might want to tuck away someplace and protect yourself financially if you can.
So in March, we're
Pay your credit cards down, stuff like that.
We should do that anyway. And
Yeah.
don't charge up too many credit cards,
Don't charge
right?
up too many. Don't go crazy at Christmas, and simply because you're going to have to be facing that in the spring. And the economy is very, very tenuous right now.
Well, that's good to know. That's a
Regardless
high
of what
note.
they say. No, I'm not trying. I'm
high
not
note.
trying to be the.
But but in March,
realist
so
here.
what you said is it comes together. So March means that is there going to be another reconstruction, new
Well, no, it'll
rebirth?
be the last time that those two major planets are in what's considered to be a square, which is a tense alignment.
right.
So that's the
Okay.
last time. So they've been together 6 times. That'll be the 7th time.
Okay.
So by then we would probably have a better idea of what sort of reconstruction they have brought.
Right.
Great.
How the chips fall.
How the chips fall. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
And so in Texas, wow, can you imagine when things are just in a little
And
bit of
it'll
a
be
turmoil?
different regionally too.
Sure.
Texas may do very well. And the thing is that it's about potential. Potential has the ability to go either way.
So I love New Year's because of New Year's resolutions and stuff. Can you give us, our viewers, like a little tip of maybe how they can maybe work with themselves, inside of themselves, and
Get real with where you are right now, good or bad. Look at yourself and see where you are. That way you can figure out where you want to go.
that's great. Just really get in tune with yourself.
Well, I think
and-
spend a lot of time looking at yourself and being positive and loving yourself. I
Right.
think it's, really got to build up that self-esteem.
Well, you do, and be able to, and I wasn't trying to be negative, but be able to go and just say, well, this isn't working for me. This,
And move on.
Yeah, and move on.
Or have people help you move on.
Or have, yeah.
That's great.
You know what's funny is we have a hard time letting go as human beings.
Yeah.
So I always like to encourage people to transition out.
That's a great thing. And
And
with
transition
that,
need not be scary.
it
Right.
doesn't. In fact, I love transition.
Well, I always say,
Yeah.
what's the end of a pregnancy? A
Well,
baby.
talking about transition, we got to transition into closing. So thank you so much to our sponsors,
thank
Commerce
you.
Bank, TJ Woods Insurance, Christian Ray at
YMCA.
YMCA, Julio's Liquors, Hillside
Spirit.
Meadows. Thank you so much, Sterling.
Yes,
You
it was
flew
great.
in
Thank
from
you so
Dallas
much.
just to be on our show. Chris, thank you again with your
Yes.
stars on your
Yeah.
shirt.
You got it.
Wonderful holidays.
Very.
Just stay in the loving place. That's what I would say. Stay in the loving place and try to breathe and
Yeah, breathe.
breathe
I
deeply.
found.
Right, great. Well, thanks again, Sterling.
Thank
We
you for
love having you
having
here.
me.
We're going to and Sterling may have some big news for us because we're going to look into some major networks and all our fans will follow us wherever we go.
Yes.
But we'll always be local.
Yes,
So
exciting.
great. Thank you so much.
Thank
I'm
you.
Christina Andrianopoulos.
Chris Flisher.
Sterling Day.
Have a wonderful holiday and great New Year.
Let's make a soul connection.